Today on Monkey Life, newly arrived female chimp Kalu meets big male Bryan.
Good girl. She's doing really good, so I'm pleased.
Chimp Cindy surprises wildlife vet John with a remarkable recovery.
I have absolutely no worries about that at all. It is phenomenal, isn't it?
And Capuchin Erico muscles in on a new log pile. Monkey World in Dorset, buried deep in the English countryside, is the largest sanctuary of its kind on the planet. The team, led by Dr. Alison Cronin, rescue and rehabilitate abused and unwanted primates from all over the world.
Oh, skinny girl.
The park provides a home for more than 260 monkeys and apes from 24 different species. It's early morning, and the members of Bryan's chimp group are in their outdoor enclosure enjoying breakfast. It's a relaxed affair, although the big man does like to let everyone know who's boss. One member of the group is missing, however. Kalu arrived a month ago from South Africa, where she was kept as a pet. She isn't yet fully integrated with the others, but is beginning to settle into life at the park. She's also following a new healthy diet after a health check last week by wildlife vet John Lewis.
Really pleased with Kalu on all fronts. Physically, her blood parameters and blood glucose in terms of, she came to us profoundly diabetic, have dropped by 50%. And that's only in a couple of weeks of being here. So I'm hoping that we can completely reverse her diabetic situation. Last week, we had all of those rotten teeth removed, 6 huge ones.
Remarkably, after only a few weeks, Kalu has responded well to the training program developed by the primate care team to help them look after their charges. With a clear photograph of the inside of Kalu's mouth, Lisa can check if she's healing properly from her dental surgery. Kalu has also reacted well during introductions to some of the chimps in Bryan's group, who are to become her new family. She's formed a friendship with Nari, and yesterday briefly came face to face with leader Bryan, although she wasn't sure of the etiquette required.
Bryan's quite a big, intimidating chap physically, but he is a really nice, soft character, and I think that that's all really good, especially for somebody who's so naive as Kalu. She can see that they have something in common. She can be in the room with him, and that most of his displays and bluster are not actually directed at her. But she learned from that first time trying to hug him mid-display that you sort of want to move aside, step aside when Bryan is full dominant male display, which is good.
This morning, the two are going to meet again.
Right, you coming then, Bryan? Mr. B?
The team are hoping yesterday's encounter hasn't unnerved Kalu. Bryan wastes no time moving through and displaying. But this time, a more knowledgeable Kalu keeps her distance.
Good girl.
Things soon quieten down enough for Lisa to try some side-by-side feeding.
Good boy, Bryan. Good girl, Kalu. That was a lot of progress, actually, so really nice, you know. Lisa got them cooperatively feeding, so sort of choosing to ignore the elephant in the room. I think she gets that she can be near him and around him and it isn't too scary, so considering that she's 37 plus years old and has never lived with other chimpanzees, we're only a couple of weeks into this, she's doing really good, so I'm pleased.
Kalu may be progressing well, But she's not the only primate resident at the park with diabetes, whose condition the care staff need to manage. One of the park's oldest female gibbons, 33-year-old Alex, has had diabetes for several years and has responded really well to treatment. But perhaps the team's biggest success story is Bart. 3 years ago, he was a very sick chimp, until a diagnosis revealed the more serious type 1 diabetes. Due to the team's sheer hard work and determination, and incredible cooperation from Bart himself, he's now transformed. He's grown into a magnificent, healthy and fit alpha male, in charge of a group of 17.
He's an absolute superstar. He's had a lot going on to cope with, so as well as dealing with us, training him all this stuff to deal with his diabetes, he's been maturing and sort of taking over Paddy's role and sort of growing up and being a proper dominant male chimp.
Bart is given an insulin injection once a day. It means his body can process the sugars in the food he eats. Without it, his condition would be fatal.
Bart, turn around.
Unlike Kalu, who has type 2 diabetes, Bart's condition is more rare and generally harder to manage. But he's taken it all in his stride.
Good boy, Bart. Good boy. Forever now we'll be managing his daily insulin and testing his blood sugar levels to make sure that he's not got too much glucose in his bloodstream or too little blood glucose in his bloodstream. We've learned a lot about what foods have what effect on him, and so we know what combinations of foods are good that are going to keep him stable, and what we might need to just keep a bit of a closer eye on. So it's been a steep learning curve for both him and for us as well. There's a lot to take in with managing diabetes.
All the group have moved to a more Bart-friendly diet, mainly vegetable-based, with fruit included every so often as a treat. Today, Bart's glucose levels were a little lower than normal, which means he can have a couple of tasty extras. A few months ago, it didn't even seem possible. He's come a long way in a short time. It's been 12 years since Monkey World took on the world's biggest ever primate rescue, collecting 88 Capuchin monkeys from a laboratory in Chile and flying them back to Dorset to start a new life. They now live in 5 separate groups, each headed by a dominant male, with the support of their females. But their backgrounds before they reached the park varied, with most taken from the wild and others born at the lab.
There's a lot of variation in colour and some of them look slightly different. The ones that came from the laboratory in Chile didn't all come from Chile originally. Some of them were wild caught from Peru, Argentina, Bolivia, Brazil. And so we've got various different species and subspecies within our lab capuchins. As a result, there's a lot of different friendships that are formed. Some of the wild caught individuals that were taken from the wild together in groups, like the robustus capuchins in sunnies, those guys would have lived in the forest together and been taken into the lab. And when they came to Monkey World, they remembered their old friends and they've kept those relationships. And the same happens here at the lodge with Cara and Zoe and Becky and those guys. They're a very tight-knit friendship group, and a lot of those friendships date back to the time when they were in the rainforest.
One of those groups is Erico's troop of 13, who live at the lodge. It's an amazing tree-filled enclosure, enabling them to live a more natural life, foraging and climbing to their heart's content. Today, Rachel is building the group a new log pile with lots of rotten branches collected from around the park. The logs are a perfect haven for insects and grubs, and the new pile also provides a great way of hiding this morning's breakfast, with the added extra of a few tasty mealworms.
Sometimes you just like to change it up a bit because some of the logs in the enclosure end up sort of a little bit hidden by the undergrowth and stuff. So sometimes it's nice just to move them around and change things up for them, because in the wild they'd be exploring new territory and finding new things to forage in and explore.
Cesar is let out first. He's the only pet trade animal in the group and a low ranker, so he gets a chance to eat before the more dominant members take charge. Once the rest of the group have joined him, it's Ringo, one of the oldest, who's first to forage through the new log pile. He quickly finds and devours the mealworms while he has the chance. Leader Erico arrives, but doesn't realise there's something new to explore. And leaves Ringo to carry on enjoying the tasty insects. Erico opts for breakfast from one of the suspended feeders, displaying his core strength and balance. He may be the boss, but it's dominant female Cara who's the bright spark in this outfit.
Cara is actually really intelligent, so I think she's really the brains of the operation. Erico's the sort of the strength and the muscle. Cara's actually really good at dealing with social issues, so when there's a squabble, it's usually Cara that gets involved if she hasn't started it and sorts it out. Whereas Erico is sometimes very good at dealing with those things and other times gets distracted by many things, members of the public, members of staff, toys, food, particularly food. So yeah, Cara's a very useful part of the group.
The log pile has finally caught Erico's attention, and he tackles it in his usual enthusiastic way. Lots of gusto and muscle. He's soon joined by some of the more dominant females, including Becky and Phoenix. They make short work of the bug-filled log pile. While Erico is quite at home foraging on the ground, some of the others, like Scarlet and Binti, love nothing better than being above it.
Generally speaking, the guys that spend the time up in the treetops are the wild-caught individuals. A lot of those animals would have been either in their sort of childhood or adolescence when they were taken out of the wild, so they probably have quite strong memories of climbing, and they certainly had a lot of practice before they were taken into the lab. And so those skills haven't left them. You know, they're the ones that are really capable at climbing on wobbly surfaces and climbing up bendy branches, and they don't think anything of it. Some of the lab animals that were born in the laboratory, like Erico and Sean and Joey, it's a little bit more difficult for them because they didn't have that experience as youngsters. They didn't have that really important learning time that you would have in the forest with your troop, learning by play and exploring. So as a result, their climbing skills had to be learnt a lot later. They're not as confident. So yeah, they're getting there, but it's not quite as natural.
The Capuchins at Monkey World have been on an extraordinary life journey and now enjoy a peaceful, social and contented life at the park. Managing the well-being and welfare of such a large and diverse number of primates is a huge task for staff at the park. Training their charges to present parts of their anatomy for examination plays a key part in keeping them healthy and happy.
Ocean lips. Good girl.
The training proves highly beneficial when the team need to treat the primates for minor ailments and conditions, as well as after major interventions. It's been almost a month since Cindy, an elderly female chimp in Bart's group, developed an abscess on the side of her face. It was so large, it eventually burst.
There we go.
Due to regular training over a period of many years, the primate care team were able to take a swab and she was put on a course of antibiotics. And with her cooperation, they've been able to clean the wound 3 times a day with an iodine solution.
You're an absolute superstar, Cindy Lou. We've seen a lot of improvement with the wound on Cindy's face. So what looked quite horrific when it first burst, it scabbed over and she had a large scab. We've been flushing it 3 times a day with iodine, but the scab dropped off yesterday and it's looking lovely and clean and it's healing really well. So we're really pleased with how the healing process is going. Yum. It's nice and clean, the tissue's nice and pink and healthy, so we're really happy with how that's progressing. So yeah, she's been a star patient and looking really good now.
A few days later, John Lewis is at the park and wants to check on how Cindy is healing.
Cinders. Hi. That's it.
Good girl. You know, I have absolutely no worries about that at all. It is phenomenal, isn't it?
Yeah, she was very good with
Extraordinary.
it.
Cindy gets the all clear. It's great news. The abscess has healed well and won't need any further intervention from the vet team. At the spider monkey enclosure, the 3 residents are patiently waiting in the tunnel for their mid-morning snack. Primate care staff member Donna has wrapped grapes in bamboo leaves to form small parcels. She's placing them in camouflaged feeders all over their enclosure, hoping to encourage the monkeys to leave the ground and use their prehensile tails as they search for food.
For the spider monkeys, we try and make their enrichment fairly easy in terms of them being able to get into it. So each one of these has only got 1 grape in it, but it means that they spend a little bit more time eating rather than just sort of lazing about. These guys do like to sunbathe, so it's nice to try and keep them nice and busy. But with using this with the hay balls as well, which are suspended in the enclosure, these guys do have a prehensile tail. So a lot of the enrichment that we do for them is aimed towards encouraging them to use that in their enclosure as much as possible.
The 3 spider monkeys, Hickory, Pumpkin and Flint, need a little motivation. So the promise of hidden grapes, which they love and form part of their weekly diet, might just be the thing to get them busy and active. Surprisingly, it's Flint who makes his way out first. The boisterous teenager is very keeper-orientated, and it's unusual to see him at the head of the queue for food. He's doing exactly what Donna hoped, using his prehensile tail as an anchor and support to enable him to reach in and grab one of the small parcels. The dominant member of the trio is female Pumpkin. Normally, where food's involved, she's at the front of the line. And although today Flint beat her to it, she soon makes up for lost time. Hickory is the old man of the group. Being at the bottom of the hierarchy, he likes to bide his time before getting involved. But there's plenty for everyone. Spider monkeys are New World monkeys, found in the tropical forests of Central and South America. They live in large troops of up to 35, but split up to forage during the day. Their diet consists mainly of fruit, but they also eat leaves, flowers and insects. Like many New World monkeys, their population in recent years has been decimated by habitat loss. The trio at Monkey World generally get on well. They all have very different personalities, but understand their position within the group. It may not always be harmonious, but they do seem happy and content with life. It's been 2 weeks since the park welcomed Pichihua, a 10-year-old female woolly monkey Alison brought back from Gaia Zoo in the Netherlands. She's settled in well and is becoming accustomed to life in her new home. Pichihua had recently lost her mate and, consequently, been on her own for a couple of months. The team think it's time to introduce her to some of the other woolly residents, so she can enjoy companionship of her own kind. They've decided to start with Ayla, a female similar in age.
Well, we thought long and hard. We do need to do a bit of a woolly monkey switch around, which we do periodically for social and breeding reasons. And she's a female that doesn't have a dependent at the moment. She is actually due to move groups for breeding, so we do need to get Pichihua company now. I think that's clear. You know, she's in proximity to other woolly monkeys, she's calling to them, and the concern is that she would become depressed sitting on her own. So we did need a solution for her, and we hope that Ayla will make friends.
Pichihua has been able to hear the noise and calls from the woolly group nearby. It's led by Chippy, who is her father. The pair originally lived together at a centre in France, but haven't seen each other for 10 years. The aim is for Pichihua to eventually join one of the other established woolly groups at the park. Today is the start of that process, and everyone has their fingers crossed that she and Ayla will get on well.
So we've got Ayla in the crate. She's a little bit worried, but it went smoothly, so we're just going to get her into her bedroom so that she can settle and take stock of her new surroundings.
Pichihua stays outside while the team let Ayla into one of the adjoining bedrooms, so she can familiarise herself with her new surroundings. Once she's settled, Pichihua is let back into a bedroom opposite, where the two females can see each other through the mesh. Other than a few inquisitive looks, it's quite a laid-back affair, so the team decide to move the introduction on and allow them into the same room.
Happy?
Ayla carefully makes her way through. The pair greet each other with snuffles, the woolly way to say hello. But for the most part, they keep their distance. And when Ayla attempts to approach Pichihua in the far corner of the bedroom, the older female tells her off, causing Ayla to start alarm calling.
It's been okay. I mean, Ayla's obviously a little bit unsettled about what's gone on this morning. But they had a nice greeting initially and some snuffles, so that was nice. We're inclined to give them a little bit more space now and just give them outside access in the hope that they'll, calm down and kind of assess the situation. But we've taken the decision to bring the barn inside. So they have been out this morning, but obviously Chippy saw Ayla leave and he was a bit upset about that. So we've cleaned over there and we've brought that group inside so that they're not an influence, and then we'll give the two girls access now.
Bringing Chippy's group inside will minimise the stress levels for both sets of woolies and give Ayla and Pichihua space to get used to each other. The team know they must take things one step at a time to give the new woolly resident the chance to settle and enjoy a long-term future at the park. Next time on Monkey Life. Alison's called in to rescue a pet trade marmoset after phone footage emerges of the tiny primate being subjected to horrific cruelty by its owner.
I'm shocked. Never really seen the like of it. It's heartbreaking. This animal is living in fear of its life.
And Chimp Jestah boxes clever and heads high to hang on to his breakfast bounty. Today on Monkey Life, Alison's called in to rescue a pet trade marmoset after phone footage emerges of the tiny primate being subjected to horrific cruelty by its owner.
I'm shocked. Never really seen the like of it. It's heartbreaking. This animal is living in fear of its life.
Long-term partners, golden-cheeked gibbons Kim and Tien, have a terrifying set-to high up in the tree canopy.
It was obviously really scary. His instincts kicked in and he lashed out.
And Chimp Jestah boxes clever and heads high to hang on to his breakfast bounty. Monkey World in Dorset, buried deep in the English countryside, is the largest sanctuary of its kind on the planet. The team, led by Dr. Alison Cronin, rescue and rehabilitate abused and unwanted primates from all over the world.
Hopefully it'll just be a quick grab and into the box and that'll all be done.
The park provides a home for more than 260 monkeys and apes from 24 different species. It's an early start for Alison on yet another emergency marmoset rescue. She's heading to Newport in South Wales for a police briefing and needs to be there by 9 a.m. Nick Dunn, the park's primate welfare and conservation manager, is going with her. The trip is the result of a phone call from the RSPCA. They contacted Alison after phone footage of a young marmoset being cruelly abused came to the attention of police.
Clearly, the health and welfare of the marmoset is at risk. We'll have a briefing with the police because they have actually obtained a warrant to enter the premises on behalf of the marmoset and its welfare. We'll have to wait and see how these things play out. It might be that it's not even there at the house or even alive anymore. You just never know. So getting to the police station and getting a plan of action to get inside of the house, first of all, is the first plan of the day.
Alison arrives in plenty of time for the meeting.
Right, let's go see what's going on.
If they find the marmoset at the premises, the authorities want Alison to assess if it's fit enough to travel, and if so, take it back to Monkey World. But first, police officers show her the phone footage.
I'm shocked. Never really seen the like of it. It's heartbreaking. This animal is living in fear of its life at all times. It is one of the worst cases of cruelty I've seen because it's just chronic and it's constant. And this animal is living in a hostile environment. So yeah, we need to get going. And hopefully it's still there and alive. It's tragic.
Alison, Nick, and the team from the RSPCA follow the police to the marmoset owner's home. Then, it's a waiting game while the officers execute their warrant.
We're just waiting for the police now to secure the house, let the owners know what's going on. So it's a little bit of an awkward time because they're not going to be impressed. But, you know, everybody just wants to get this done for the sake of the marmoset, so.
So we're just going to try and get some details off the friend and stuff, but we're just speaking to her now.
Okay.
After a tense wait, one of the plainclothed officers gives Alison an update, and it's not good news.
Probably about the worst result we could have looked for right now. I've just been told by the officer that they've sold the marmoset to a friend. So it's in the wind now. They're going to try and get some details, but that's really not a good answer for that poor little marmoset that's in those video clips.
The owner claims she sold the marmoset to a friend a week ago. As the law stands, it's legal, but it's a worrying development for Alison. After further questioning, the police obtain a name and address for the friend. But there's a problem.
Police now don't have a warrant to do anything forcibly now with somebody else. And you know what? This is part of the problem and what I've been saying for so long, the unregulated trade in all of the marmosets, all of the tamarins, all of the squirrel monkeys. It means there's no accountability. How many cases do we have to rack up before people start realizing that something has to change with the law? Because, I mean, this is wasting the police time too. This is crazy.
Alison's only hope now is that the marmoset is at the address given, and they can speak with the new owner. The future for this unfortunate marmoset hangs in the balance. The majority of the park's primates, large and small, have had an incredibly tough start in life. Their rehabilitation is the result of expert care and dedication from the care team, who've given them the chance of a better life. The 14 chimps who make up the Bachelor group are a good example. Most were stolen from the wild as babies after their families had been slaughtered. They were then sold via the illegal wildlife trade. Now, as part of a stable and secure group, they're living a more natural life. And like nothing better than a bit of fun enrichment. Today, the primate care team are putting out cardboard boxes to engage the group and keep them active and occupied. Some have treats and breakfast hidden inside. Others are empty, encouraging the chimps to search for food. The youngest member of the group, 21-year-old Seamus, is first out, followed by one of the park's original chimps, Sammy. He arrived in 1987 at just 5 years old, along with 8 others. He loves his food, often hoarding as much as he can before finding a quiet spot to enjoy it. Weight has always been an issue with Sammy, and over the years, the team have had to watch his diet. Today, however, he's in great shape. The group are enjoying this morning's challenge, checking out all the boxes. Even low-rankers like Turkish Charlie have joined in and tracked down a treat. He doesn't always take part in tasks like this, but today he's completely engaged and enjoying the peanuts he's found. He's having more luck than Seamus, who's had to give up his bounty to old leader Butch. Seamus was born at the park. His mum Cherry was very young at the time and abandoned him. He was hand-reared by Jeremy and the team before graduating to the nursery run by female chimp Sally, where he grew up surrounded and cared for by other chimps. He understands it's best not to refuse the more dominant Butch, but Seamus is savvy enough to head off and find more food while keeping an eye out for the older male. The group have mellowed in recent years. They were bold, brash and rowdy, but while they still do have the odd ruckus, age is catching up with some of them. In the past, the boxes would have ended up as playthings, but these days, it's more about food than frolics. In South Wales, police have located the marmoset filmed being cruelly abused by its previous owner. It's been sold on and is at another address. Alison, Nick and the RSPCA are with them.
So we've actually managed to find the marmoset. The owners are actually being fairly helpful. The marmoset's being seized as evidence to the previous crimes, and then we'll have to work out what happens to it thereafter. But at least it's here and we found it, so good news.
Following a discussion with Alison and the RSPCA, the new owner has come to the conclusion that marmosets don't make good pets. He bought the monkey in good faith and with every intention of doing his best for the primate. But he soon realised the specialised care and attention they need was more than he could offer. Alison and Nick have succeeded in getting the little marmoset into a travel box.
Yes. All good. So she's a little girl, and she was actually quite happy and quite calm. Obviously didn't enjoy having to go back in the box, but she's going to go on now to Monkey World and have a bit of a better life than she's had. The guy was really kind. He was really willing to give her up once he realised that he wasn't being able to provide for her properly, and he was very reasonable, just a bit upset. Obviously, with all the good intentions in the world, he thought he was doing the right thing, but you know, he was very good and gave her up to us.
Alison has managed to have a good look at the marmoset.
A little bit scrawny. It is a female, it would appear, and he's been calling her Millie. So we'll now get her back to the park and assessed. I'd like to know what her weight is, and then it'll be a case of witness statements and potential prosecution of the person who abused her in the first instance and then dumped her on somebody else. What happened here that's lucky is nothing to do with the law or law enforcement. It all has to do with the fact that the gentleman who purchased her unknowingly in the last week was a good chap and decided to let everybody in willingly and accept that Millie needed signing over because she needs to be with others of her own kind. So she got lucky today.
Despite her start in life, Millie is now one of the fortunate pet trade primates. She's heading back to Monkey World for a better life. But there are still hundreds out there that won't be so lucky. It's been 6 months since female cotton-top tamarin Mo arrived at the park to join lonely male Uncas. The pair have really taken to each other. Uncas adores his new lady, and while there is a big age difference, Mo seems happy with her older partner.
So Mo is well and truly settled. She's definitely the boss of Uncas. She's quite a bit bigger. She's a big lady, is Mo. She's at least 150 grams bigger than Uncas, but she's really settled. She loves the outside enclosure. They both love sunbathing. They groom a lot. I think she's all right with him. I don't know whether she'd prefer a younger model, but she's quite okay with him at the minute. I think she likes the fact that she's in charge and she's the boss.
Uncas is a survivor and has adapted well to the traumas life has sent his way since his difficult start as a pet trade animal, including the loss of previous companions.
Uncas is really happy now, so he has had many friends over the years. 2 cotton-top friends at different times, Alice and Hawkeye. He's also lived with common marmosets, he's lived with Saki monkeys. So he has had lots of friends in the past, but he does seem particularly settled with Mo. They're good at the moment.
It's a beautiful sunny day, and to encourage the contented couple to be active and go outside, the team have put out some of their favourite food: waxworms and giant locusts. But they haven't made it easy. The bouncy insects and wriggly morsels are inside clear plastic bottles. The 2 cotton tops need to use their brains, as well as agility, to get to the treats. Mo is on the move straight away. Still young and fit at 11 years old, she shows just how strong and agile tamarins can be. She uses her core muscles to balance and reach out to grab some tasty waxworms. But that's just for starters. She's straight on to the main course, giant locusts, hunting them amongst the wood wool. For Uncas, it's more of a puzzle. There's no lack of effort on his part, but he's a lot older and suffers from mobility issues.
Uncas does have a bad arm, which he has had for a long time, so he is on long-term pain relief. So his mobility isn't as good as Mo. And also she's a lot younger, so she's more agile, she's quicker, she's faster. So yeah, she's probably always going to get a bit more than he does. But again, like I say, we make sure he gets his fair share as well.
Cotton-top tamarins come from the tropical forests of northwestern Colombia. Their diet consists mainly of insects and tree sap. They're one of the world's rarest primates, due mainly to habitat loss, with fewer than 2,000 remaining in the wild. Mo has definitely got the hang of this task, and a taste for locusts. Her nimble hands are perfect for grabbing and keeping hold of the wriggly critters. It's been a fun form of enrichment for the pair, even if it's been more challenging for Uncas. But he's just glad to have someone to share it with.
We're always really happy when we get a successful pair and they're happy and they seem settled. So yeah, it's really nice for Uncas. And he is an old boy and Mo's a young girl, so it's very unlikely that he's going to lose another cage mate. So yeah, hopefully this will be his friend for the rest of his days.
Uncas and Mo aren't the only primates at the park who are a perfect pair, happy and settled. Golden-cheeked gibbons Kim and Tien were the first of their kind born at the park, to parents who had been illegally taken from the wild. They pair bonded and have been together since they left their families in 2015. They now live in this wonderful tree-filled enclosure.
All gibbons absolutely love being in the trees. Tien and Kim are just in the trees all the time. They very rarely ever are low down in the enclosure. When they are, you'll see that they're down eating the natural browse that's actually available. We've got lots of different kinds of trees that are edible for them lower down. So they will come down and sort of browse through that during the day. Obviously, as it's coming into summer, we're also getting things like flowers on the brambles and stuff, which they really enjoy as well. So they will come down occasionally for that. But other than that, they're pretty much in the trees all the time, really active and just kind of loving life.
Today, primate care staff member Kat is distributing their breakfast with a twist. The pair are always given their food in pulley feeders, hoisted high up into the tree canopy. But it doesn't take long for them to devour it.
So just to try and slow them down a little bit, make it a little bit more difficult, we've added in the extra enrichment. So hopefully it'll keep the guys busy a bit longer.
Toy Kongs have been stuffed with slices of orange and beetroot, tied and knotted in fabric. Hopefully the pair will spend a bit more time over breakfast today. Kim is the dominant one of this pair. And as always, she's first out, going straight to the nearest pulley feeder. Tien heads off to another at the far end of the enclosure. He knows better than to get between his lady and her food. Ignoring the beetroot for now, Kim reaches for an orange-filled Kong. When it comes to food, it doesn't matter what it's hidden in, she's an expert. Hanging from one arm, holding 2 Kongs in her feet, and devouring breakfast at the same time, she demonstrates just how well adapted gibbons are to living in the trees. While Kim gets stuck into the rest of her breakfast, at the other end of the enclosure, Tien has managed to untie one of the pieces of cloth and is tucking into some beetroot. He soon heads back for more. Gibbons have very long arms, perfect for brachiating, swinging from branch to branch. Long fingers act like hooks as they hang down to reach for food. Their shoulders and wrists have adapted to enable them to spin around, and they can hang from one arm for a very long time. They may keep apart when it comes to feeding, but most of the time, this pair are inseparable.
Right from the outset, they have been known as our sort of like loved up couple or Valentine's couple because they're just the cutest couple ever. They very rarely have even the mildest of disagreements. They're almost always hugging each other. You know, Tien, when she's grumpy, he tends to stay very much out of her way and not do anything to annoy her. So they really are renowned both with the staff and all of our regular public that they are just so cute and so lovely together.
Once Kim has finished the food in her feeder, she heads across to see what Tien has left. Her partner is engrossed in his food, although keeping a watchful eye out for greedy Kim. When she lands behind him, he lashes out. For the first time in memory, the pair have a lover's squabble.
A real shock today. It's very unusual for Tien and Kim, and we've never seen anything between them as much as what actually happened today. Tien was so engrossed in what he was doing, he turned round and just his instincts kicked in and he lashed out. Kim made it very swift, very sure of the fact that you don't do that again. It was obviously really scary. Tien, very high up in the trees. He's not holding on to any branches. Neither was she. He had quite a big fall. But one of the things it does show is just how quick and amazing the hand-to-eye coordination is with these guys. He caught hold of something, he got himself away from the danger and he kept away from her. And we haven't seen any more sort of incidents since, so it looks like they're back to their usual selves.
Thankfully, the tiff was over in an instant, and a little later the pair reaffirmed their bond, singing a duet high up in the trees. After a long and eventful day, Alison and Nick have arrived back at the park, following a 3-hour drive from South Wales. With them is Millie, a marmoset in desperate need of proper care.
I'm pleased that even though she's been bounced from pillar to post, we've at least got her now and can get her sorted out, and now we can give her over to Karen and her team to get her fit and healthy, because she is a bit scrawny and she definitely needs some appropriate vitamins, food, and companionship.
Millie suffered horrendous abuse before her owner sold her on to an unsuspecting friend. Videos of the appalling cruelty were found on a phone by police officers.
The footage of what happened to her before would drop you. It's about the worst thing I've seen ever. Ever. Let's get her inside.
Primate care team member Karen takes Millie into the marmoset complex and pops her on the scales to get an idea of her weight.
Okay, it's okay. Stay calm, please. 360.
Well, that's not bad at all.
No.
Better than expected, but still underweight for a marmoset of her size. Karen has prepared a bedroom for Millie where she can spend a few days on her own, getting used to her new surroundings, including the sight and sounds of other marmosets nearby.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Come on, Millie.
Good girl.
Unsurprisingly, she's incredibly nervous, making small alarm calls as she gazes around and slowly explores her new environment. It's completely different to anything she's ever experienced. The care team will try to build up her confidence, but it may take some time.
She is now free to live out the rest of her days here with others of her own kind, and we'll just have to wait and see how she goes. And first of all, make sure that her physical health is good and that she's eating, moving well, getting the right nutrition that she needs, and checking on that. And it's now going to be down to the RSPCA to prosecute for the acts of cruelty that she lived with every day of her life.
Next time on Monkey Life. Newly rescued Chimp Kalu ventures into the outdoor enclosure for the first time and aims high.
Don't want her to get too overconfident, get spooked, and have an accident off of the climbing frame.
And wild strawberries for a marmoset family as the kids take the cream of the crop. Today on Monkey Life. Newly rescued Chimp Kalu ventures into the outdoor enclosure for the first time and aims high.
Don't want her to get too overconfident, get spooked, and have an accident off of the climbing frame.
Vets John and Cesar combine to try to solve the long-running mystery of the lump on the face of Bruce the loris.
Cesar, have a look at this. So that swelling is actually all around. Here's your ear canal.
And wild strawberries for a marmoset family as the kids take the cream of the crop. Monkey World in Dorset, buried deep in the English countryside, is the largest sanctuary of its kind on the planet. The team, led by Dr. Alison Cronin, rescue and rehabilitate abused and unwanted primates from all over the world.
You just never know how it's going to work.
The park provides a home for more than 260 monkeys and apes from 24 different species. It's been 2 months since Kalu arrived from South Africa to begin her new life in Bryan's small group. She's thought to be around 37 years old, but has taken meeting the younger generation in her stride.
She's just fantastic, actually. She's really quite confident and, as I would describe her, self-contained. Nothing really seems to faze her. She's sort of happy on her own. She's also seemingly happy if others are around. So really happy that she's doing so well here at the park, but also a little bit cautious about where we are with her health care.
Kalu arrived with medical issues. A health check revealed serious diabetes, and the team have started treating her with oral medication. But this hasn't delayed Kalu's introduction to the rest of the group. She's already met 4 of the 5 face to face. However, she's yet to meet Rodders, who has a reputation for acting like a spoiled teenager when confronted with newcomers. Kalu is getting on particularly well with leader Bryan, as well as kind and caring Nari.
Quietly confident. She's well on her way to being part of the group and doing really well. It's just finding the right balance of how far we push her.
Today, the team have decided to go a step further and let Kalu into the big outdoor enclosure for the first time. Her 3 new friends are already outside, with Bryan heading off to do his morning checks and displays. And Lulu and Nari chilling out, content to lap up the early morning sunshine. For the moment, Rodders and Ash are being kept indoors. Now it's just a question of waiting for Kalu to navigate her way through the bedrooms and tunnels to the outside. Bryan goes back to offer some encouragement.
Where's Kalu? Where's Kalu?
Kalu finally makes it to the entrance, and everyone is there to greet her. Pleased their new friend is considering joining them. There's a brief moment of uncertainty before the temptation proves too much. Kalu steps outside and begins exploring her new home. At first, she stays at ground level, checking out the fences and boundaries and coming to terms with her new neighbours. In South Africa, she was used to seeing dogs and goats. Here, she's surrounded by other noisy chimps and fluffy orange orangutans. It's probably her first encounter with them. But she appears to take everything in her stride, even enjoying a group treat of sugar-free ice lollies. And remains unperturbed as Bryan and Lulu enjoy a fun play session, while Nari peruses the latest wildlife magazine, just delivered. The atmosphere is calm and relaxed, but Alison and the team do have one concern: the climbing frame. Kalu is older than many of the other chimps at the park and lacks muscle condition, compared to the others who regularly use the apparatus.
Our enclosures are big, and our climbing frames are very big and very tall, especially in Bryan's group. And, you know, Kalu, as an older lady now, and not only an older lady, but a chimp that's been kept in an enclosure with virtually no climbing frame at all. But we're gonna have to watch that. Don't want her to get too overconfident, get spooked, and have an accident off of the climbing frame, because accidents can happen to anybody.
When she does start climbing, she takes it slowly, one careful step at a time. She doesn't have the strength and stamina of her housemates and isn't as confident, but she's determined to reach the top. And she does, calmly surveying her new home. It's a special moment. Kalu has been welcomed by the group, embraced her new home, and is on top of the world. There are big plans afoot for the park's woolly monkeys, Over the years, Monkey World has successfully bred 25 offspring. But the 3 resident groups have needed some careful management to achieve this. Now the park has become a victim of its own success. The family groups are under pressure with too many members, especially males.
We have a load of boys, and as the boys grow up, they will live in multi-male groups, but of course, you know, in a captive situation, they're in each other's face more than they would be in the wild. So we need to reduce the stress in our houses, and we can rehome 3 of the boys. So we're trying to target which 3 boys are not the best family men, perhaps cannot remain in their groups because they're with their mothers and other closely related individuals, or who simply aren't really stepping up to the plate in terms of being that dominant male in the group.
Working with the last remaining wildlife parks that care for woolly monkeys, Alison has come up with a plan to ease the problem. Part 1 was bringing the only other breeding female in captivity to the park. Pichihua arrived a few weeks ago from the Netherlands and will soon join one of Monkey World's 3 family groups. But first, some of the boys need to be moved. Paulo, Manny and Carlos are to become part of a temporary bachelor group. Eventually, the plan is for the trio to move to Appenhoel Primate Park in the Netherlands and join 3 other males already there.
So Paulo will be first. These 2 boys are in the same house and are going to be a little bit more of a struggle.
But putting boys together in one group, without females, comes with its own problems. So the team have decided to intervene.
This morning, the #1 priority is to get some hormonal implants into our 3 male woolly monkeys, just a tiny little under-the-skin implant that will sort of take the testosterone motivation out of them a little bit.
Wildlife vet John Lewis is going to give the implant to all 3 males. It should minimise stress and reduce any competition or aggression between them. First on his list is 12-year-old Paulo, who heads up the pond woolly group. Thanks to regular training, the woolly monkey team have managed to crate him without any stress and given him an anaesthetic by hand injection. It should be a quick and straightforward procedure, so John is going to perform it in the playrooms. It means he can keep the anaesthetic level to a minimum, and all 3 can quickly return to their group once they've come round. Paulo is weighed, so the team have an accurate and up-to-date record. Next, John moves on to the implant.
Tough skin.
It's a small capsule which sits just under the skin and releases medication to reduce the amount of testosterone the monkey's body produces. It won't affect them long-term, other than to reduce the male drive.
Okay, let's put a little tiny stitch in there.
It's quick and simple. Finally, John takes bloods for the record before Paulo is moved to the bedrooms to recover.
He's had an implant which will reduce his production of testosterone. In other words, he's a male, it'll calm him down. We've taken a blood sample and enough to store as well as to use today for diagnostics. He's had his weight determined, and he's fine. He's up, climbed up to the top of his cage. You know, he's going to be a bit hungover for a bit, but that's all right.
Happy Paulo is recovering and the team are monitoring him, John moves on to the next 2 on his list. 8-year-old Manny and 4-year-old Carlos, and the whole procedure is successfully repeated.
It's always a relief to have got them up again after an anaesthetic. But I mean, this morning was relatively straightforward. No need to put them into deeper or longer anaesthesia just to finish off a job, which was easily finished, so no problem.
It'll be a few weeks before the implant takes effect. Alison and the team will monitor all 3 boys closely before deciding when the time is right to put them together as one small bachelor group. It's a busy day for wildlife vet John Lewis and the vet team. Earlier, they carried out successful procedures on 3 male woolly monkeys. And now, following a break, they're going to examine 2 of the park's Bengal slow lorises, Bruce and his partner Boo. Bruce's condition has been an ongoing saga for the past 2.5 years.
The lump that he's had for a while is still there and it's actually getting bigger. It doesn't seem to affect him in any way. He's still eating really well, he's still very active, he's still very interested in his partner Boo. They still hang out around a lot together, and the fact that it's continuing to grow is concerning, so we just want to try and have him down again and see if we can get some more answers.
The team are also concerned about Boo. She's been a lot quieter in recent days and off her food. Karen is hoping it's a sign she may be pregnant.
We have seen lots of mating between the 2, so we just want to rule that out or confirm it one way or the other. It'd be really nice if she is, so we'll just have a look at that as well.
Bruce is up first. Local vet Cesar Sastre is here to assist John and is brought up to speed on the loris's history.
But this was the histopath. So there's no evidence there of a tumour. And they say we'll go for a big biopsy.
With Bruce safely under anaesthetic, the team can get to work. It's the 4th time John has taken a look at the lump.
OK.
Unfortunately, its size and position means surgery is not currently a viable option.
There are an awful lot of blood vessels, seriously important blood vessels, the jugular, the carotid. It's not an area that you are gung-ho surgically about. We're very cautious.
The lump has grown significantly since John's last visit and is still a mystery. The vets take blood samples and fluid from the area to be sent for analysis. Then they take a series of X-rays.
Cesar, have a look at this. So that swelling is actually all around his urea canal.
In fact, this could be a paraoral abscess.
There aren't many options open.
It's either removal or a significant chunk of it for testing, then you know.
With surgery ruled out for now, they opt to take a large biopsy and send it to a specialist pathologist.
The identification of the tissue type will tell us what future medical treatments are available and would be realistic. But we need the results of that test now.
Hopefully, this will shed some light on Bruce's condition. While he recovers, his mate Boo is brought in and quickly put under. The team give her a quick health check, but Karen is more concerned about whether the loris is expecting. An X-ray should provide the answer.
There's absolutely no evidence of her being pregnant, but there is evidence, by feeling, that she has significant fat deposits on either side of the abdomen, which may be fooling the keepers into believing that she's had abdominal swelling. It could be very early pregnancy, but they're looking for a late pregnancy, and it isn't. So that's clear.
It's inconclusive all round, but the result of Bruce's test should provide an answer to his problem. As for Boo, the team will need to keep a close eye on her in the coming weeks. The park has an abundance of wild fruits and flowers, which help the care team vary the primates' diet and replicate some of the seasonal availability of their natural habitats. Today, a proliferation of wild strawberry plants, still laden with ripe fruit, have been placed in the enclosure housing the park's largest group of marmosets, Ruby's family of 6.
We've got Mum Ruby and Dad Oscar, and then they have 2 sets of twins. They've got Merry and Pippin, the older pair, and they've got Frodo and Rosie, the younger pair. They're definitely our most high-energy group, and they're a really lovely family, a very sort of natural family.
But the parents couldn't be more different. Mum Ruby is one of the biggest marmosets ever to live at the park, while Dad Oscar is one of the smallest. The pair get on well and share the responsibilities of managing their tight-knit family. The succulent fresh strawberries should be a great enrichment for all 6 monkeys. Mum Ruby is first to check things out, alerting her two sets of twins to the colourful fruit. And they waste no time heading over to investigate. The tiny, bright red fruits are something new for the youngsters, and the excited foursome soon gets stuck in. It's a real treat. Fruit usually forms less than 15% of their diet, and is an important source of nutrients. Unlike the majority of marmosets who arrive at the park having been rescued from the pet trade, often from tragic circumstances, these four youngsters have had a stable upbringing.
They are learning how to marmoset, basically. They're learning the social skills, they're learning how to interact, what's acceptable, what's not, and they're becoming sort of proper marmosets, which is something we struggle with some of our individuals, not being proper marmosets. They don't quite understand what they're doing a lot of the time. And the reason for that is that their babies are often taken away so young, like a couple of weeks old, in the pet trade, so that they can be hand-reared to make them, you know, more friendly for people to then get them as pets, that they are completely deprived one of the most natural things in the world, which is a mother raising its child. And the pet trade guys don't get that. They get ripped away from mum. Mum loses them, has no idea where her babies have gone to, and the babies lead these unnatural, hand-reared lives to then be filtered into the pet trade.
Not so for these four youngsters, who've had the benefit of both parents on hand. And when they've had their fill of strawberries, it's Dad Oscar who's waiting in the tunnel for a family grooming session. Malagasy is home to the park's 11 ring-tailed lemurs. It's a magnificent tree-filled enclosure where the group can climb and forage for edible leaves and buds. However, Malagasy lacks fruiting trees, but that's about to change, if only for today. For safety, a cherry tree in the park has been felled. It's laden with ripe fruit, which the lemurs love. The team have brought some of the fruit-filled boughs over to Malagasy and are busy securing the branches high up in the enclosure's tree canopy. It promises to be a delicious change for the lemur group.
They live in a very large forested enclosure here, and they are given every opportunity to explore their environment. But what the primate care staff do to encourage them to use the trees and to therefore use their core strength and use their skills in being arboreal animals, they actually feed them on raised pulley feeders that we can pull up into the trees, and we can actually get the lemurs to go into fairly inaccessible places. Oh, hello. And it means that they can use all of their core strength and balance right at the end of those bendy branches and get their food, so that they're having a much more natural way of foraging rather than just feeding them on the ground or feeding them in an easily accessible place.
The lemurs are watching closely and are intrigued. But once they're all outside, they take their time to assess the change. Friedrich is first to take a leap of faith, with his twin brother Kurt close behind. Himal prefers to abseil down to get to the cherries. Encouraged, the rest of the troop join in. Ring-tailed lemurs are more terrestrial than most other lemur species. They spend a lot of their time on the ground, especially when travelling to find a food source. It's wonderful to see the group in the tree canopy, demonstrating their natural agility on the bendy branches. Unlike some primates, lemurs can't hang from their tails. They use them purely for counterbalance in locomotion and for communication. A bit like hoisting a flag. But when it comes to moving and climbing, they have one big advantage: very powerful legs.
Yeah, they're like springs. So The very muscly top part of their leg there is actually incredibly muscly. They're only a small lemur, and so those legs are actually a huge part of their body. And so when they really need to use them and spring and leap very large gaps of sort of 6 meters or so, that you see those legs working like a sort of spring and catapulting them from one to another.
There are 11 members of the troop, 9 males and 2 females. And in lemur society, it's the females who rule the roost. Fennel has been in charge of this group for quite some years. But the only other female, Kaya, rescued from the pet trade 10 years ago, has yet to fully grasp lemur politics.
Fennel is the dominant female in this group, but nobody's told Kaya that. So Kaya also thinks she's the dominant female, and because of Kaya's history, she's very people-focused and she's very, very confident, and so she can cause real problems for the rest of the group because she has no fear.
But today, with the cherries all finished, and the troop also making short work of the leaves, they're a pretty harmonious group. Satiated and relaxed, the lemurs gather for a bit of social bonding. A midday huddle in the warm sunshine. Next time on Monkey Life, Alison successfully uses tasty treat tactics.
Look at this. Look, it's a whole box full.
While on a double mission to rehome 2 pet trade marmosets.
Monkey World 1, Reggie, no.
And young chimp Toprish shakes things up at Bart's group. Today on Monkey Life, Alison successfully uses tasty treat tactics.
Look at this. Look, it's a whole box full.
While on a double mission to rehome 2 pet trade marmosets.
Monkey World 1, Reggie, no.
Wildlife vet John Lewis is momentarily stumped during a complicated dental operation on aging ugly monkey Sam.
Oh my God. He has multiple dental issues.
And young chimp Toprish shakes things up at Bart's group. Monkey World in Dorset, buried deep in the English countryside, is the largest sanctuary of its kind on the planet. The team, led by Dr. Alison Cronin, rescue and rehabilitate abused and unwanted primates from all over the world.
I can't keep her in, get her in. Okay, got it.
The park provides a home for more than 260 monkeys and apes from 24 different species. In recent years, the park has been inundated by the sheer number of marmosets needing to be rescued and rehomed. The small primates are victims of the British pet trade. There have been so many, Alison has started working with other trusted wildlife parks who can take on healthy marmoset pairs and free up space for new cases at Monkey World. That's why Alison was able to respond to an emergency plea from the RSPCA last week to rescue Millie Martin, a female marmoset allegedly abused by her owner. And the appeals for help keep on coming. Today, Alison's in the Midlands on a double mission. The first is at a home in Worksop, Nottinghamshire.
2 female marmosets today to get back to the park as quick as possible, so we're just gearing up to go get Reggie.
Reggie's owners bought her from a pet shop and were told she was a male. They only realised the mistake as she got older.
Good morning.
Morning.
I'm Alison.
Hello, Alison. Nice to meet you.
You too.
Hiya
It's
there.
Alan.
The couple have done their best to look after Reggie for 7 years, including giving her access to an outdoor enclosure. But unfortunately, due to a change in circumstances, they're now unable to care for her, so called Alison for help.
Yes, we can hear you.
She wants to go. Yeah.
Alison's keen to gather information about Reggie's personality, her health, and what she likes to eat.
3 days to settle down. So
In terms of her diet,
her diet, her main thing is she has baby food, fresh fruit.
Okay.
Fresh fruit. Her favourite fruit's mango.
Satisfied she's got all the information she needs, Alison takes her first proper look at Reggie.
Look what I've got. Look at what I've got. Oh, it's very exciting. Look. Oh, I know. Yes, they fed you well. You have little boobs. Yes, you do. Good girl.
Alison's a little concerned that Reggie is overweight, but she does seem friendly and isn't too stressed at seeing new people.
she looks fantastic. Nice and solid. She likes insects. I'm sitting here right now trying to work out a way that I can marry our box up and get Reggie just to walk into our box so that there isn't any anger issues. We've already established that we like insects. Hi, you're a good girl, and I'm okay. So it would be nice if we could get her just to walk into the box willingly rather than making it a battle of wills.
Alison is hoping Reggie won't be able to resist the temptation of waxworms waiting for her in the travel box and will walk straight in. The family are less convinced.
No, she'll not walk into there. She'll not walk into there, not a chance.
But Alison has done this many times before.
Look at this. Look, it's a whole box full. It's a whole box full. Look, it's going inside the box, but it's going right in the back, right in the very back. We're being very excited about the waxworms. It's extremely good. It's extremely good. And we're putting them right in the back of the box.
With the trap laid, it's time to find out if Reggie will succumb to temptation.
Are you ready?
Okay.
You're right this side, I've got my hand here. Come on. Oh, look at this.
It doesn't take long.
Come on then, what is it?
The sight of tasty waxworms in the box proves too tempting for Reggie.
Come on then.
Tail's still out.
No, it's gone. It's all, everybody's in.
Tail's just in. There we go.
Mission accomplished.
Monkey World 1, Reggie nil. Although I think we're all winners here.
It's time for the family to say their final goodbyes.
Bye-bye, babe.
I'll let you know, and as soon as we get to the park, I'll send you a message.
Thank you so
All
much.
right.
Thank you very much.
Before Reggie is loaded into the back of the car. But the day isn't over for Alison.
Next, we're heading to Stamford and to go see Jenny, the marmoset who lost her partner, Forrest. So I'm hoping everything's as straightforward and lovely for Jenny as it's been here.
Part 1 of this double mission is complete. 60 miles further south, another female marmoset is waiting for Alison's help. The sun is shining, it's a beautiful day, and at Bart's the chimps are soaking up the warm rays. Most of the troop have lived together for more than 20 years. They're used to each other's company and know their place in the hierarchy. But the arrival of young female chimp Toprish from Turkey nearly 2 years ago has shaken things up a little, meaning peace and quiet may not reign for long.
Toprish is doing really well, and I think overall it's been a great addition to Bart's community. I mean, it's incredible, really, considering she's not even been here for 2 years and she's already established herself, certainly as a mid-ranking chimp in this group, and probably will move, I think, further up through the hierarchy over the years.
Toprish took her time getting acclimatized and wouldn't venture outside for the first year. But she's now gained confidence and is making up for lost time. She gets on well with most of the group, and after a tricky start, has caught the eye of dominant young male Bart.
Welcoming new individuals into his community wasn't something that Bart had really had to confront before, so he struggled a bit, but now they're thick as thieves. She is one of his favoured ladies, and things are changing now, but certainly initially he really wasn't disciplining her, and that was allowing her to get away with a lot. And making the other females be wary or conscious of how they behaved around Toprish because they knew she had the backing of the alpha.
Their relationship has had an impact on the hierarchy and status of other group members. The result has been more frequent squabbles. And today, it's Gamba who livens things up by attempting to provoke Toprish before moving on to Athena. Toprish shows just how far she's come by leaping into the affray to back up Athena. Within seconds, it's a free-for-all, with Bart struggling to maintain control.
Disputes within chimpanzee communities are really normal and a natural part of life. They're very gregarious and social animals, and they are going to have disagreements. And I think Toprish has a good relationship with everyone in the group. She just knows where and when she can push things, and she's very aware of kind of having the backing of some of the dominant individuals.
Toprish has found her voice and position in the group, and buttering up Bart has proved to be a clever move.
She's a force to be reckoned with, and, you know, she's young, she's feisty, you know, the males like her. She's pretty much got everything going for her.
After successfully picking up female marmoset Reggie from Worksop, Alison has journeyed 60 miles south to Stamford in Lincolnshire on the second leg of her dual mission.
Yeah, second marmoset of the day. Hope we go as well as we did with Reggie.
I know. You're gonna be a good girl. You're staying here for a moment.
With Reggie happy and settled in her travel box, Alison collects the second crate to fetch Jenny, another female. She was originally bought as one of a pair from a pet shop, and she's been on Alison's waiting list for 4 years.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good, good.
Jenny's mate died recently, and now, lacking companionship, she's shot to the top of the list.
Yeah. On your monkey world jumper. I love it.
For Jenny's owner, who's looked after her for 9 years, it's going to be an emotional day. Unlike Reggie, Jenny has been kept indoors in a cage without any outside access at all. Not ideal for primates who love the outdoors and need sunlight.
Is she pretty much always just in her cage?
Yeah, she comes out. Well, she comes out in the front room and runs around.
As always, Alison is keen to get as much information as possible about the marmoset.
Likes, dislikes?
Favourite fruit seems to be banana.
Mm-hmm.
Loves the mealworms and locusts.
And how much did you buy them for?
They were $1,000 each.
Wow, that's a big spend, and the cage and everything.
Yeah.
So will you have marmosets again?
No, if I was to see monkey life before I got them, I would never have got them.
Yeah.
Never.
The owner has realised primates aren't suitable as pets. Once Alison has had a good look at Jenny, she has concerns about a swelling around the small monkey's jaw.
It's got a dental abscess, so we're going to need to get her to the park and get on some antibiotics, get that swelling down, because when the vets either go to check or remove the tooth, the bacteria can go into the bloodstream, so you always treat with antibiotics before you do any dental work. So I'll call ahead to the vets and get them into the park in the next day or two. But now we have to hope that Ginny is as well behaved as Reggie, who strolled into the box.
It worked before, so Alison tries a little bribery with tasty waxworms to tempt Jenny into the box.
You're very gentle. Look at what I've got. So tasty.
And it seems marmosets can't resist them.
Come on then.
It's 2 out of 2 for Alison. Jenny is safe and secure and ready to go. But the reality of losing her pet is all a bit much for the owner.
I'll let you know as soon as we get back to the park. Oh, don't. It'll be good.
I know.
It'll be good.
Yeah.
You'll be good.
Alison has a 200-mile journey ahead of her.
Thank you very much.
You look after, no, honestly.
Thank you very much.
You look after yourself.
Yes.
She wants to get both marmosets settled in their new surroundings at the park before it gets dark.
This one's going to need medical attention, so I'll call ahead and sort of organize the vet in the next day or so, but we need antibiotics on board, and I might have a photograph to send on ahead anyway, but we need to see what's happening with these marmosets before they go with others. But yeah, not bad, not bad. Time to get home.
At the Stumpy house, leader Sam is struggling with dental problems. He's had issues with his teeth on and off for the past year, and now he's developed a facial swelling and nasal discharge. The team, along with wildlife vet John Lewis, are on their way to anaesthetise Sam and take him to the park's animal hospital for examination. It's a sad fact that Sam's background makes sedating him fairly straightforward.
This is an ex-laboratory animal, and it's used to being injected under training. But Jeremy can inject him pretty much every time we ask him, and many of the other macaques. Simply, they will turn their backside to him and he can inject them in a leg. It takes all the stress out of darting them, all the inaccuracy out of darting them, makes the whole thing really rather calm.
Sam came to Monkey World 20 years ago, along with 19 others from a British laboratory, where they'd been used for asthma research. At 33 years old, he's no spring chicken, and the last time he was sedated, it took him a long time to recover from the anaesthetic.
It's always worrying when you knock an old animal down. There's always more risks involved, but John Lewis is one of the best anaesthetists we could have, so it's just quite a long process getting the teeth out. The roots are really big on them, so it does take a lot of pulling and tugging to get those teeth out properly, so it can be quite a long time under. So yeah, we'll obviously keep a close eye on him and hopefully he'll be fine.
John, a wildlife specialist in this field, has chosen very specific drugs in order for Sam to recover from his anaesthetic quickly.
Right, can you come to me? Lovely.
An initial inspection confirms Sam has serious problems.
Oh my God. He has multiple dental issues.
John intubates Sam to keep him safely under anaesthetic.
And he has lower jaw problems as well, by the way. He's got dental sinuses below his incisors.
This could be a long job.
He really is pouring out of that nose. Is it ever infected? Does it ever look snotty?
No. It doesn't normally pour out like this.
Sam's dental issues are causing his sinuses to become infected as well. John asks for the lights to be dimmed so he can get to work.
Ugh. It's tricky to know which one's done the damage. You've got these incisor roots, and then we've got a split canine.
The two broken incisors need to come out first.
Can we turn them up to 2, please?
Straight away, John realises something isn't quite right.
What the hell?
The two rotten upper incisors have somehow fused together. John will have to take them out as one.
This is interesting. I think they're both coming out as a single unit. Weird.
After a lot of probing and wiggling, John manages to extract the teeth.
They're fused together. That may well be the problem. So that's been infected for some time, but these roots end up very close to the nose. And he's clearly got nasal irritation going back some time. This might be the cause of it.
The upper incisors may be the main cause of Sam's sinus issues, but to be on the safe side, John's also going to remove the broken canine.
Taking incisors out is one thing. Removing a canine is actually a far, far bigger job.
The problem is, the roots are longer than the actual tooth.
These are big teeth.
It's going to be a long, time-consuming job. And ideally, the whole canine needs to come out in one piece.
Come on, you know you want to come out.
It takes almost 40 minutes of gentle persuasion and pulling, but eventually, to everyone's relief, the whole canine does come out in one piece.
Yeah, oh, there we go. So as you see, they're quite long-rooted. So they are the teeth most likely to be giving you a problem in the nose. So they're gone.
On closer inspection, John can tell the damage to the tooth was caused by some sort of trauma, which isn't unusual in stump-tailed macaques.
They are really rough, tough animals, and they're always breaking teeth and so on. In the wild, in captivity, it's nothing unique to captivity, but at least we can do something about it. And he is an old fella, really. But there's no reason why he should have a canine causing constant bother to the side of his face.
Hopefully, removing the 3 teeth will solve Sam's sinus problems. He's put gently back into his travel box while he comes round from the anaesthetic. When he does, the team will return him to the house and the rest of the ugly monkeys. Alison has arrived back at the park with 2 female marmosets, safe and secure in their travel boxes.
Oh, need to stop doing this. Yeah, it's been a bit of a long one.
The care team have spent the day preparing separate bedrooms for the newcomers. Reggie is first to be introduced to her new home, with Karen doing a quick weight check while she's still in the travel box.
Hello, little one. Very orange.
At 420 grams, she's not the heaviest marmoset at the park, but she is overweight. Reggie and Jenny are being given bedrooms next to another new arrival, Millie, rescued just last week.
Okay, they can look at each other though and consider whether they want to be friends, so that's nice.
You're right, if I just go in and open up.
Yeah, it should be fine.
Karen wastes no time letting Reggie out.
Oh, straight out. Good girl. Hi. Hi there. Hi.
Her marmoset neighbours are very excited about their new housemate.
She's, making quite a few nice calls back and forth to the others. At the moment, she seems more concerned about what's being offered for dinner, which is hardly surprising because she's not a small lady, but starting to explore and so on. She's a little bit bunny hoppy with those back legs, so we'll get, Karen and her team will get some D3 into her, which is good and important, and we have that baby food that she's used to, so tonight anyway, she can have her normal food. So quite confident. A little bit concerned about the next one out of the box, but she's quite good, aren't ya? Is that a good girl? Hi. Yes, are you gonna be nice?
With Reggie settling in, Karen collects Jenny. She's a lot more nervous and isn't keen to come out of the travel box.
Come on then.
Oh, come on then, it's okay.
Oh, there we go, we're moving.
Karen gets her first good look at Jenny and is concerned by her appearance.
Her face just looks shocking, really. Yeah, really bad. She's quite very flighty. She was quite nervous in the box and hasn't really settled so far, but obviously there's lots going on today. Whole new environment, lots of new sounds, new people. But yeah, we need to get
the issue with her mouth resolved, so she will go on pain relief and antibiotics now. And then we'll get the vets in and do a dental at least and a full health check as well.
It could be a while before the pair are completely settled and healthy enough to be fully introduced and form a bond as housemates. The team will do their best to get them both fit and well in the coming weeks, in the hope that they will form a lasting friendship. Next time on Monkey Life. Concerns grow when vet Cesar examines a lump on the face of newly arrived pet trade marmoset Jenny.
The mass is rather big. Now that lump, who knows where it is?
And an experimental new enclosure means Bengal slow loris Axel goes outside for the first time.